Sister Iman, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
What a nice day in Copenhagen today.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Alhamdulillah. And thank you for coming to see us and share your story with
You're
us.
welcome.
Now, you've been a Muslim almost 20 years now. How did the journey begin?
I think that it started in my early childhood. I grew up with two parents and an older brother. My parents are atheists, so religion didn't, had any part in our home. But my grandmother, my father's mother, she converted before I was born to Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh.
And she was actually the only one in our family who was religious. And I spent a lot of time with her. And when I saw her, she would take me to meetings. At Jehovah's Witnesses, they have small groups where they read the Bible, and she would take me to those meetings. And she bought me a Bible for kids, and we would read all the stories about the prophets. And when we started eating, if it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner, we would always pray. And also when we were going to sleep.
Quite religious, huh?
Yeah, but not in a like a strict way. It was like fun and loving when I was with her. And so I would take it home to keep it inside and take it home also when I was at my parents' house. And I would when I was going to sleep, I would pray, and she said to me that you can ask for anything you want. And, as a small child, I would ask for princess dresses and all sorts of, kinds of stuff. And I just remember that I always believed, but not like in a certain way, but I had belief. And
belief in what? In one God?
But not defined. Because that my parents were not religious, so it wasn't anything that we would talk about. I remember asking my grandmother lots of questions. She told me that of course there is a God, and I asked her, but if there is a God, and if God created everything, who created God? And I couldn't comprehend it. And she said to me, I think I was maybe 10 years old, and she said to me, "You're thinking too big. Just accept it." And that's not us humans. We can't comprehend this. And I was like, okay. But I remember it was something that I often ask myself, eternity. What is eternity? There has to be a beginning if there's going to be an end and all that. So
what made you ask these questions? Were you reading something?
Yeah, we were reading the Bible, and she would, we would have small talks about the prophets, and she was, I don't remember exactly, but we must have had a discussion of some sort. I don't know, actually, but we read about the prophets, so I knew all the timeline and all that, but in a Christian way.
Yeah, from Abraham.
Yeah, Adam to Jesus. Yeah. And then I started college, and we had to make an assignment, an essay, and I wrote about death, Christianity versus Islam. I don't know why, but I did. So it must have, have been something that I was interested in.
You mean you wanted to write about how Christianity sees death and how Islam sees death?
Yeah. So I wrote about that. And
you need to read a lot about this.
Yeah, but it was college, so it wasn't,
not in depth.
No, but it was in my interest. That was clear to me. And then, I met a boy. So the classic one, a girl meets a boy, and but we were together for 5 years, and religion, he was a Muslim. Religion wasn't any part of our relationship, but he was a Muslim, not
not practicing.
No.
Otherwise, he would not be with you.
Of course. But after 5 years, then I was about 22, I think. And I could see that this isn't going anywhere. And I was also getting older. And I remember always feeling alone, even if I was with people. And I believed, but I didn't know what I believed in. So I actually told him, or asked him, if he could introduce me to someone, because I wanted to know more about Islam. And his brother got married to a Moroccan girl. He was from Palestine, and his older brother, got married to a Moroccan girl who was very active in the Islamic community. And so
he introduced you to her.
Yeah, and she quickly, took me under her wing and introduced me to a lot of other people and took me to the local mosque. And I remember I started lessons every Sunday reading, and I read the Quran. And then she introduced me to also another revert. And then it got quickly. And then I realized that, okay, now I believe. I have read a lot, and I was convinced. I was told that you can say the Shahada, the declaration of faith, and you could say it anywhere. I didn't have to. It didn't have to be like a ceremony, and it's
between you and Allah.
And you can just say it. And I remember just thinking, okay, I'm gonna say it today. I don't want to wait. And then I said it, and then I told the convert, and she said, no, we have to have like a ceremony. And she invited me home, and there was an imam coming, and I said this Shahada, and there was a lot of other people there, and it was a special occasion.
Muslims love to celebrate this occasion.
So a special occasion, yeah.
So actually, earlier you had some interest in knowing what to believe in.
Yeah.
But it was your relationship with that Muslim young man that accelerated it.
I think so, yeah, but I can't put my finger on when or how, but it just like happened. And that's also a part of it, because I had to tell my parents, and they felt that they weren't included like in the journey. But it's difficult because you don't wake up one day and say, okay, I'm going to be a Muslim. It's something that happens over time, and it's difficult to include people when you don't even know, where the journey is going. So, yeah.
What was their response?
Oh, they wasn't too happy in the beginning. I think maybe mostly they was afraid maybe it would change me and change our relationship. I remember my older brother said to me that it's okay you converted, but if you wear a scarf, you're going to break my heart.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, but I already knew then that one day I would, but when I didn't know, but one day I would. So, but I was like, okay, one step at a time.
I think they see the scarf as setting you apart from them.
Yeah, I also think that. Yeah,
it's like a barrier.
Yeah, and it's they have a culture that it's normal not to dress like that, and you're just so different. Yeah, it's more normal not to wear so much clothes, here in Denmark. So
it's amazing, because if you go less than 100 years ago, most women in the West were dressing like Muslim women.
Yeah, they were. Actually, my grandmother,
even with scarves.
when she was going out, first of all, she always wore dresses, and she would like wear a scarf and tie it behind. Yeah.
A sign of modesty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Was she still alive when you converted to Islam?
Yeah. She actually died a month ago.
What was her own reaction?
She was okay with it.
Because you were very close to her.
Yeah. But she's an older generation, and I don't think she have ever met a Muslim. So in typical here in Denmark, what you hear in the media is what you believe. And unfortunately, that was the case of her, and also my parents. They haven't met any Muslims either. So, of course, they were afraid of what's going on now, and maybe she's gonna get radical, or yeah.
And are you on good terms with them?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a great relationship. I think that they have realized that this actually had brought us closer together, because I have a big responsibility with having parents, and I hopefully live up to it. And now they're, of course, 20 years older than when I converted. And they need me in their daily life, and I do help them as much as I can. I think that they can see a big difference between me and my older brother, where I'm the one helping, driving, mowing the lawn, all that.
Because for you, it's something Islam expects from you.
Yeah, of course, it stems from love, but also I know it's my responsibility. So, and they thank me every time I'm there. They say, "Thank God we have you." So, because my brother doesn't help as much. So, yeah.
Now, such conversion into Islam, which involves a change of lifestyle. You mentioned, as an example, the scarf.
Yeah.
But was that shift difficult for you, or was it smooth?
No, the shift was difficult because I waited a year when I chose to wear the scarf, because I wanted to make sure that it was my own decision and not others' expectations. And there was a lot of people asking me when I'm gonna wear it, and I was like, slow down, one step at a time. My main focus at that time was, praying. And I did that from day one. And then I slowly, built. But one day I decided, okay, now I'm gonna wear the scarf. And with that comes a lot of things you can't do anymore. Like if I wanted to, I trained in a fitness center. Now I wasn't going there anymore because I didn't like wearing a scarf when I was training, and when I had family situation or occasions, then I always felt like a stranger somehow. Not anyone hadn't told me that, why are you wearing this or anything directly to me. I think it was in myself. I felt different, and yeah.
So you felt different because you could see in their eyes?
I felt it, but no one ever said anything. But I have always felt it. I didn't drink alcohol, and of course they did. I didn't eat pork. So if I was coming, they had to make something else. And I felt like a burden at some point. Nobody have ever said that I was a burden, but I just, in myself, always thought that, okay, they have to do like all these changes when I'm coming. Where when the other kids are coming, it's a lot easier.
How do you compensate for this? I mean, you were in a culture and now you find yourself in an opposite culture, do you find compensation with the Muslim community?
Yeah, of course. I think all my girlfriends now are Muslims, and we have a good community here. So, yeah. But I still have my family, of course. It's not like I have written them off or anything, but where I feel most comfortable is with my Muslim community. Yeah, and that's a bit sad, but it's the truth. So
now, was it for you a problem, the sort of mixture between culture and religion? Because many Muslims who are born into Muslim families, that distinction is not clear. So the Turks, for instance, think to be a Muslim, you have to be a Turk.
Yeah.
An Arab probably thinks that to be a Muslim, you have to be an Arab.
Yeah.
The same thing would apply probably to a Pakistani or so forth.
When I got married, it was a Palestinian family. I remember before we got married, there was a lot of discussions. My mother-in-law wasn't happy about it. Mostly, not that I was Danish, mostly that the Arabic language would get lost somehow and wouldn't be, how could she communicate with me? Because her Danish wasn't so good.
Was it the same person you were with? Was it the same person?
Yeah, we got married, actually.
You got married eventually?
Yeah, it's a funny story because...
Because you didn't mention that.
Yeah, it's a funny story because when I converted, I said to him, it's over. So we can't be together anymore. And it wasn't with an afterthought of, I was hoping that we would get married. I was doing this on my own and I was content with it's over.
Haram is haram, halal is halal. That's it.
And now it's this. And he was like very respectful. And I think maybe a month later he contacted me and said, I also want to, practice more now. And I want to marry you. And then I said, okay, but then you have to let go of this and this and this. And I introduced him to my girlfriend, who was a convert, her husband. And they quickly bonded also. And he started also coming to the mosque and get some lessons and all that. And then he told his family, I want to marry her. And they wasn't
they were not happy.
No, they were not in the beginning.
A traditional Palestinian mother wants a cousin or wants someone from...
She wanted a cousin.
From the same tribe.
and they grew up together and he was like, no, it's like my sister, so I can't, And he was firm about, it's her I want. And I think maybe the discussion went in 2 months, back and forth. And then she gave up. Yeah. But, But when you spoke about culture and religion, that was one of the thoughts I had in the beginning, that I wanted to find my own identity in this. And I wanted a clean practice. I didn't want any culture. So because I've seen other people maybe marrying a Pakistani man and then walk around in Pakistani clothes. And that's okay but I didn't want that. I wanted not becoming like an Arab. I wanted to be a Danish woman who also is a Muslim.
Yeah, sure.
So we had a lot of discussions in the beginning about, his family would celebrate birthdays and all that. And actually, I was the one said, no, we're not going to do that anymore. And he was like, okay, because it's not from Islam. So, yeah.
You were more religious.
Yeah.
Did that create tension?
No, they accepted it, and he was like going along with it. So, yeah. Yeah.
And did the marriage last?
Oh, unfortunately, he passed away. He got cancer. So he passed away. We were together for 7 years. We were married, and then he passed away.
Did you have children from him?
Yeah, I had a daughter. Yeah.
Subhanallah.
So it's,
Rahimahullah.
yeah, it's he passed away in 2010. Yeah, so it's 13 years ago now.
Subhanallah.
Yeah. But that's also one thing I'm so grateful for, that I'm a Muslim, so I can, it's of course hard to lose someone, but if you have belief, it's easier. Not that it's ever easy, but easier. I remember my father at the funeral, he said to me, life isn't fair. And I was just thinking, no, that's not the point of view I have. Because I knew, because of the reason he died, stomach cancer, I know he will have a high status in Jannah.
True.
So, yeah, so that's some relief. Yeah, if he just died and now it's the end of it, I think maybe I would have a breakdown or something. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you see, with death, we are all heading there.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to do with fairness or not being fair.
Yeah.
We can never know the wisdom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that a certain person comes to an end at a certain age. We can never tell. I mean, in Surah Al-Kahf, you probably know the story. When the young boy was killed, because Allah knew that if he were to live longer, he'd probably turn his parents' life into hell.
Yeah.
And the way to deal with it in Islam, and I'm sure this is probably what you did, is just to accept Allah's decision.
His will, because there's a reason for everything.
True.
I remember that half a year before he passed, we wanted another child, and nothing happened, and I couldn't understand why, because we had one child, so why can't we have another? And we're both young. But now I see, okay, but if I actually got pregnant, then I wouldn't even had given birth yet.
Yeah.
When he passed.
Subhanallah.
So, yeah, there's a meaning with everything.
Yes, there is. Definitely there is.
Yeah.
Well, sister, I'm really grateful for the time you have given us and for sharing this story with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.